What's up, guys? It's finally time for Chapter 2 patch notes. We've gotten some in the past, but this is gonna be a literally all of the Chapter 2 patch notes. So let's just dive on in. Map changes. We knew these were coming. We knew Banehelm was getting changed. It's the big snowy part of the map, but they also like to take out a little, they like to do a little bit other things. We got Boathouse, Gazebo near Ruby Grove, which sounds pretty neat. Bridge near Halcyon, which seems pretty neat. Fever Break, which I think was an old POI that maybe they're bringing back. Himwood Amphitheater, which is kind of nice. Like, I kind of want to see what that is. And then Westmar seems to be changing, which I love Westmar. I don't know how that feels, but so we got the store and cosmetics, which if you know me, I freaking love everything cosmetic that will show off any kind of flashiness. A new type of outfit or skin has been introduced. It's called Ascending, and it's basically like a tiered skin that you can kind of get up to the one. So players who currently own any of the following outfits will now be able to upgrade them with the Ascending quest: Ascending Virtue, Lightbringer, Chilling Glare, Flinty Scrapper, Smoldering Warrior, and Spark Driver. Those are all of those elemental based skins that were in the shop back in the day. Also, Chapter 2 pass, there are, like Chapter 1, we've got 2 packs that you can kind of buy and get a benefit to your XP. So you get 100%, I think, is the top one, which is the Trickster pack, I think. And then 50% is the Priestess pack. The Trickster was actually already in the store on accident. If it was me, I would have added a different skin, but you know, that's probably a big old headache to try to do. But then you got the Priestess pack as well. You can buy those in the store as soon as Chapter 2 drops. And then many emotes have had unique sound effects added to them. We were in the testing thing on Friday in the preview event, and the Blind Faith Kung Fu emote thing actually did have sounds, and it was kind of interesting. Also, there are bundles of emotes if you want to. He said, quote, a 6-pack of bundles. You can buy those now. Also, some outfits now have different idle animations on play screen. We noticed this in the preview event, and it is freaking awesome. So this is kind of where we see our feedback from Chapter 1 and possibly, well, Prologue for sure, and possibly Chapter 1 come into play. Chapter 2 and quests. We do know that Jesse kind of spearheaded the Chapter 2 quests, but it's a brand new chapter. Players will learn more about the cause of the fracture while having to ward off an incursion by the sinister Valguard, which you can see in Dominion. Chapter 2 is confirmed as 12 weeks. We kind of knew that already, but there's story and honor quests. Honor quests, for those of you who don't know, is the purchase with the chapter pass. Everyone will get story quests, but will be introduced the player to new NPCs, which we don't know, which is kind of cool. A few new gameplay affecting objectives have been sprinkled around the map. This makes me think of those crystals we saw in that image. And then I think they talked about them for a little bit in somewhere as well. Players can now re-roll 1 daily quest every day, only 1. Each one will have the option to re-roll, but you can only do 1 a day. Here's the Dominion breakdown. We have an entire video where we break down the entire game mode as much as you possibly can break it down. But basically, Dominion is a brand new 5v5 objective base mode. Play with a group of up to 5 players and take control of 3 different zones on the map to rack up points and win. You can watch it. We have a video. I'll put it in the description. We might also put it on the screen somewhere. It's a great mode. We got to play it last Friday, and this is, in my opinion, the future of Spellbreak. I don't think that Spellbreak will really lean into, or it will lean into the BR. Most of the quests will be in the BR. However, I don't think the player base will lean into the BR as much as they will this mode. This mode is phenomenal. Also, in the middle there, Dominion, we are vaulting Clash for the time being so players can focus on the new mode. While playing Dominion, it felt like Clash, but much, much better. Like, felt like it hit the mark that Clash was trying to hit. So with Dominion, they're adding a ranked mode, which is going to be leagues, and it is only in Dominion currently. You can also play Dominion as unranked. We have a video on all of the leagues breaking it down. Also, the best way to get to the top leagues. We released it today, actually, but breakdown, there are 6 different leagues or ranks inside the leagues, and each one of those leagues has 10 different tiers to it. So bronze 10 to 1, silver 10 to 1, and then all the way up to legend. But you can basically just pause this and read this if you'd like to. But there are 6 leagues for players to progress through: bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, and legendary. Once players reach the gold league, the stakes increase as much as matches cost crowns to participate. So bronze and silver, you basically just go all the way through without having any kind of problem, because you're not going to cost points to actually go in there. So if you don't do well, you still gain points and you still go up. But once you hit gold, you actually have to pay for it. So players will risk losing crowns in tiers if they don't do well in a match. However, every 5 tiers, they'll reach a milestone below which they cannot drop. So once you get to gold, you can't go down to silver. Once you get to gold 5, you can't go drop back down to gold 6. Once you get to, platinum, you can't go back to gold. Platinum 5, diamond, then you can't go down. Diamond 5, and then legendary. Something that most games do in their ranked and their leagues and whatever is once you end the season, or you get to the next level, you are given rewards. In Spellbreak, currently it's only titles and badges, which they don't have to give us anything. However, I think it's a little bit lame if you go all the way to Legend and you have titles and badges, but hopefully in the future we'll get a little bit more. Also, one small thing about leagues, this is new. This is a new thing, so expect it to change, expect the levels to change, expect what crowns cost and accolades that are with it. Give you crowns, expect everything about it to change. So we got BR changes, Battle Royale, which with the new Dominion game mode coming out, Battle Royale is getting a little bit overshadowed. So hopefully they change a lot of good things. So the final circle location is no longer completely random, which is amazing. It now chooses randomly from a selection of hand-placed in locations. I think Apex does this as well, and maybe Fortnite now, I'm not really sure. But this is kind of a nice change. I mean, it's just like a nice little, they're gonna formulate fun to fight building areas, and it's no longer random, so that's kind of nice. You also don't get to instant exile people as quickly anymore. It's now 6.5 seconds instead of 5. Stop jumping on my orb and instant exiling me. It's pretty rude. Down to orb timer reduced though, to 60 seconds from 90 seconds, so I can't just like run around forever anymore, which is kind of big sad. Also, the storm now does more damage early on before reaching its current damage value. So first circle does 2 damage per tick instead of 1, then 4 per tick, up from 2 until the next closure, then 8, then 16, 20, and 32 damage. I don't know if that's different, but that sounds like a lot of damage. So now we've got Resurrection actually for Battle Royale, which we already know what this is. They've talked about it in the past. Players will now have an option to resurrect their fallen teammates when crossing into the next circle in Battle Royale. It's a nice addition. I'm not gonna lie to you. There's nothing different about it than resing a downed player. So to resurrect a teammate, a player will have to enter a new safe zone. That part is different, I guess. After their teammate has been exiled, and hold use key for 12 seconds. Typically, when a teammate went down in the Battle Royale, you would wait till you got into the next zone anyways. And then you would res them for like, I think it was like 6 seconds, 5 seconds. Now you hold it for 12 seconds. They drop down from the sky. They don't, however, have any equipment, which is, I guess, kind of a little way to balance that. But it's really, there's like nothing for this. It is a cool addition. It's just not a cool implementation in my opinion. So just kind of add some stuff on top. It does not include teammates who have been downed but not exiled. Players respawn with their common class gauntlet but no other inventory. Players retain their talent levels, however, though, after respawn. People have just been asking for this a while, is basically that last one, and we now have it. It does get interrupted though if you take damage, so just you're gonna have to hide for sure. But you know, if you do fall in the fracture. Something to keep in mind as well for this is if you have 2 teammates down, you only have to do this 1 time to get both back. You don't have to collect cards or anything. You just go into the zone. If you have 2 teammates down, you just hold the F or whatever your interact button is for 12 seconds, and they both drop back. So we finally are back to the matchmaking. They brought it back in for like a weekend. It kind of broke, didn't do what they wanted to. So they pulled it out, worked on it more. Matchmaking is now more flexible, balancing player skill, latency, and party composition to find the best possible matches in a reasonable time frame. So just because you go into NA East, or just because you go into EU or wherever you matchmake, it doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna be in there. If you, however, those regions are full, you will almost always go in there. But if those regions aren't full, then it'll matchmake you somewhere else, which I think is awesome. Fun little tidbit, mage rank is no longer used in matchmaking at all. So the only thing that was really back holding all of that stuff together is not at all anymore, period. It's just favoring other metrics such as leagues and other criteria. Players now wait in their match to fill in the play screen instead of a pre-match lobby, which we saw in the preview event. You hit Q and there's a little timer in the bottom, throws you into the match. Once everyone's been queued together, you kind of play around in that lobby island for a quick second while it gets the server ready, and then then the game launches. So you see this in the very bottom. US West is back, by the way. So just keep that in mind. For all of you West homies, I know you've wanted the server back, so here you go. So the general gameplay we've kind of already known for a little bit. They did a little breakdown last week before the Dominion. We played Dominion. So we felt these changes. We've seen these changes. So they're going to be a little bit quicker and kind of short answered. But overall gravity has been reduced by 25%. It does not affect, however, Shockwave, Spring Step, Featherfall, or Bedrock fall speed. I also don't think it affects Tempest, but I could be, because Tempest already had that. I think it was 35%, so now it's 25%. So like technically it's a buff for Tempest movement, right? I would think, but maybe not. Anyways, something with this also that I don't think is mentioned here. When we were playing on Friday, I felt outside of Tempest too, not just inside of Tempest. In every class that I played, I felt like I had better horizontal movement And it might be because of this change. We had a lot, I felt a little bit more in control of my horizontal movement overall. For those of you who don't know, Fervor has been removed from the talent pool. So in order to kind of compensate for that, they kind of raised a global cast speed, except for Lightning Bolt and Wind Shear. Wind Shear, I think, is actually at 15%. But Lightning got nothing. Everything else got an 18% bonus. And before anyone kind of gets a little bit upsetty spaghetti about Lightning not getting it, don't forget that we are now floaty. We are slow in the air. So Lightning kind of got an indirect buff there. So you also don't need Fervor with Lightning. Lightning is already pretty easy to poke from the outside with. No other Gauntlet pokes. Plus, we're floaty, like I just said. Also, when you drop and you land like a superhero in Dominion, it's no longer that 1.34 seconds. It's the 1.0. You get 1 second. It's much quicker. You can get right back to the action. Also, fixed issues where projectiles would occasionally fire in a random direction. That's been around for a minute, and I'm pretty pumped about that. So, just like the Dominion stuff and some of the gameplay stuff, we have actually already seen some of those rune changes, and a lot of these changes are to kind of limit escapability. And just kind of, the reset factor was too much. It was too many people flying away, too many people teleporting away, and then just never coming back. But anyways, they increased Featherfall cooldown by 2 seconds across rarities. Increased teleport wind up to 1 second from 0.6 seconds, almost doubled. Reduced teleport cooldown by 2 seconds across rarities to kind of compensate for that wind up. And then reduced flight rune duration to 3.5 seconds from 5 seconds. It's 1.5 off. Increased vertical flight speed of flight rune to 60% of full speed. It was at 50. They changed it, and now they're kind of buffing it from there because it was a little bit harsh. I think so too. Reduced invisibility duration of Shadow Step to 1 second from 2 seconds. I played on Friday with this change, and it really didn't feel like much of a difference. So don't take this on paper as a freak out moment because it's really just, it's not that big of a change. Skilled toxicologists can still get that slap in if that's what you're worried about for the outbreak damage. Spring Step no longer maintains speed through levitation. However, they increased the horizontal speed and distance of Spring Step. It still feels decent to me. It's definitely not overpowered like it was. Just don't try to carry that momentum and you'll be fine. And then decrease Chronomaster cooldown by 4 seconds across all rarities. That's pretty nice. Now we get to potions and heals. Potions, in my opinion, there needs to be a lot of reworks here. I don't know if they're going to take over these in a second. We'll see. However, knowledge potions, the drop rate was reduced, which thank God they're everywhere. Knowledge potion now takes 3 seconds to consume instead of 1, which is definitely, you can feel for sure. Safeguard potions now takes 4 seconds to consume. Previously 5. I think that should be less, unless they, I think it's actually half of current, but I think the large safeguard potions are now 6 seconds. We'll see. Now 6 seconds instead of 8 seconds. So it would have been half, but now it's 4 and 6. I think that's fine, actually, thinking about it for like half a second more. So for the talents, we have a video for each one because all of the talents are all over the place. Some of them new or some of them completely changed. Some of them are in different areas. Some of them cost more than they did. It's too much for this one video. So we actually have a video for each section, mind, body, and spirit. You can find them down in the description, or maybe possibly we might put them on the top of the screen. But overall for the talents, they now cost between 1 and 4 points, no longer just 3. Players can now have 7 total points to spend instead of 6. And there are now 7 talents per category instead of 6. And all the talents that have been removed, if you haven't known that already: Escapist, Fervor, Finders, Keepers, Focus, Mana, Harmony, Recklessness, Recovery, and Scavenging, which some of them have been kind of twisted and tweaked and added and separated and pushed into the new talents in a different way and part of different talents, but you get what I mean. So they're running a little bit out of time, so they're going to speed run these classes gauntlets. So if I miss something, I'm sorry. But spell damage other than Ice Lance are being changed across the board. They're all mostly going up to be more powerful so that TTK can be lower. Details are more relevant section. Mana costs are now consistent across rarities. So no matter what rarity gauntlet you have, your mana is going to be the same. Generally speaking, mana cost is now equivalent to that of an old rare gauntlet, which is totally fine. But that's, again, from white all the way up to gold, or common all the way up to legendary. Sorcery cooldowns are finally lowered at higher rarities, which makes sense, right? Because the gauntlet should also change the sorcery, right? If you have a higher tier gauntlet, your sorcery should go down. So now it does. Details below in the relevant sections. So here's the lightning conduit changes. Lightning bolt's damage is now 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 per bolt. From 7, 8, 9, 9, 10. So the damage is a little bit better on the epic and legendary than it was, but the first 3 are still the same. Lightning bolt's mana cost is now 9. Every single rarity. It was 9, 9, 9, 8, 8, so it's not really that much of a change anyways. Lightning Strike's cooldown, though, is slightly a big change. It does take longer at the beginning, which is now 18, 16, 15, 14, 13, from a constant 15. Also, Lightning Strike now does 25 damage on hit, up from 20. So if you get that nice one, it's a nice little 5 bonus per strike on your last talent there in Conduit. Now we got Frostborn and Frost. So Icelance mana cost is now 24 to 48, depending on charge duration, from 36 to 30 to 60, 27 to 54, 24 to 48, which is the one that it's going to constantly, and then 21, 42, and 20 to 40. Flash freeze cooldown though is now 18, 16, 15, 14, 13 from 15 seconds. So that's going to be in the middle, and then it's kind of going to go on both sides depending on rarity. Frozen Alacrity now grants Ice Lance leaves Ice Trails 150% faster acceleration on ice trails. This is the part that changed. Immune to slow and frozen across the board, all of it. Icicle no longer grants Ice Lance hover in midair while aiming, because that's across the board on all of Frost, not just the class. So Ice Lance now hovers across all classes while being charged. I played this on Friday. I'm not a fan of this change. It slows down Tempest. It slows down Toxicologist when having Frost on the offhand. It just slows down Frost offhand kind of across the board. Pyro and Fire Gauntlet. I was hopeful for so many things for this, but it just didn't hit the thing. But the Fire Gauntlet, Fireball's damage is now 25, 30, 34, 38, 42, up from 25, 30, and 34, which were the same, and then 36 and 38. So old legendary is now epic, and then on top of epic is a legendary of 42. Fireball's mana cost is now 17 across the board, which was rare. Flame Wall's cooldown is now 18, 16, 15, 14, and 13. From 15, damage from lingering flames and flaming tornadoes increased to 18 damage a second, ticking every 0.33 seconds, up from 12 damage. Now we get to the Stone Shaper, Stone Gauntlets. Shockwave's damage is now 30, 39, 42, 45, and 50, up from 45 and 50 at the end. So legendary, like fire, is now epic damage, and then you've got a different on top of which is 50. Shockwave's mana cost is now 21, which was rare. Boulder Fall's cooldown is now 14, 13, 12, 11, 10. From 10. Boulder Fall now does 30 to 50 max damage based on distance traveled. Boulder Fall wind-up animation takes 65% longer now. Stone Skin skill now grants max armor plus 20 and on cast Shockwave plus 3 armor, which is kind of a buff. Now we're at Tempest and Wind. Wind shear damage is now 7, 9, 10, 12, and 13. Up 1 for the last epic and up 1 for the last legendary. Wind shear mana cost is now 9, which is fairly what it was across the board except for epic and legendary. And then Tornado's cooldown is now 18, 16, 15, 14, and 13. Changed from just one static of 15. Wind gets that 15% fervor, which is less than that base 18 that everything else minus lightning gets as well. So there's that increased cast speed for wind shear of 15. And then Squall no longer grants its bonuses while in the air. You actually have to use a class now, but rather it's now triggered based on updraft or wind surge. So either you slap the ground and get in the air and then you have it, or you use your tornado to get in the air. So it now reads on updraft or wind surge, spell damage of plus 20% on updraft or wind surge, incoming damage reduction of plus 10%. And then Tox, just like we go from the other ones, Toxic Spray damage is now 30, 36, 41, 46, and 51. It seems like all the damages are the same across the first 3 rarities, and then you get to this last 2, and it moves that legendary into that epic slot, and then they add another one on the end, which is 51. Toxic Spray's mana cost is now 17. It's a static 17. Toxic Cloud's cooldown, though, is no longer static from 15. It's 18, 16, 15, 14, and 13 seconds. Damage from toxified clouds, puddles, tornadoes, has been increased to 18, just like Pyro, by the way. Also, ignited clouds now do up to 3 ticks of 16 damage every 0.33 seconds, previously up from 2 ticks of 20 damage. And then there's also a bug fix at the bottom, so fixed toxic puddles causing massive damage. Some weird, like, all your everything that you had on you, like armor and shield and health, was just gone. So that's now fixed, which is, for those of you who play on Switch, they did a little bit of a gyro scoping, smoothing and snapping, and some various issues were fixed. For you PlayStation and Xbox homies, the PlayStation 4 Pro and PlayStation 5 now support 4K and other visual quality improvements. Xbox One X and Xbox Series X now support 4K and other visual quality improvements as well. Also, this is kind of interesting. I think this was the same way with Chapter 1, but Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscribers can get Chapter 2 Battle Pass, Chapter Pass completely for free. And just like every patch, we get optimizations. So we have 6 here, and I guarantee you it's not just 6 optimizations. It's various across every board. UI stuff. This has been something that people have asked for forever. Players now default to their last played class on the class selection screen. So you no longer go back to your class selection screen and then it's your most played. It's the last one that you played. So you no longer will just randomly be a Stone Shaper if you want to play Pyro and you played it last game and you thought you were going to be Pyro. So also add a new screen that shows relevant info. They used to have a news tab in the game, and this seems like their way of bringing that back. There are also some other various small, like display screen is completely rearranged. Play is now on the right side. Quest dialogue screen has been cleaned up. Current chapter level now displays on the play screen, which is kind of interesting. Players now get an alert when a friend request is accepted or received, or when a party invite is received. So not just like a little red dot in the top of the screen, it actually will show up on the screen. New celebratory animation when a player levels up in a chapter or ranks up a class, which I'm kind of sad I don't get to see that because all my classes are all the way leveled up. But players can also now skip animations that trigger when players purchase or unlock a cosmetic. I didn't know that you couldn't skip that, actually. Also, for those of you who've been around for a little bit, you may remember crit sounds and then not having crit sounds and then having crit sounds again and then not having them and then having them again and then recently not having them again. Crit sounds are back. We don't know how long they're going to be around, but you know, they are there. So if you don't know what a crit sound is when you have something that affects how much damage you do in a positive manner to somebody, you'll have a different sound when you hit that damage. So that is all of the patch notes for chapter 2. If you're not excited to at least try out the game for chapter 2, I don't think Spellbreak's for you. This game is about to hit, it's about to start catching its stride, and it's learned how to walk. It's getting to that point. It's learning how to, they're building out finally. They're building out, and then they're gonna build up, and then they're gonna build out again and up and up again. I'm pumped. April 8th. Servers go offline, by the way, at 10 a.m. on the 8th. That is when downtime starts for chapter 1 stuff to come into play. Sometimes it takes 5 seconds. Sometimes it takes 4 hours. We'll see how long it goes. Guys, I'm pumped. Go have a great day, okay? I love you. I'll see you then. Peace.
Yo, I'm hungry where them Cheetos at. They stay biting like where them mosquitoes at. I'm on point like an elbow. Hands red like Elmo. My mama said, have you had enough? I looked and I said, no ma'am. I